Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party in the UK, has been accused of anti-Semitic associations and questionable behaviour for several years now. The British public and the media have repeatedly made excuses for this behaviour, and he's billed by many to be the next Prime Minister of Britain. We believe that if Jeremy were a member of any other political party, his behaviour wouldn't have been tolerated. We're going to test this by asking members of the British public if they'd support a politician guilty of these things. By doing this, we'll be able to get an unbiased reaction to these concerning actions.
So there's one politician here in the United Kingdom that he's invited terrorists to the Houses of Parliament who's killed, and these terrorists are responsible for the murder of thousands of Jews.
Really?
He's described Hamas, a terror group from the Middle East, as being dedicated towards social justice and political justice in the whole region. He was a member of a secret Facebook group that nobody was supposed to know about, where they posted far-right anti-Semitism, neo-Nazi conspiracy theories from people like David Drew. And the final part was he's also known to have supported, and also even in one extreme case, financed known Holocaust deniers.
Yeah.
And so my question is, does a politician like this have a place in British society, or British politics, sorry?
Look, you know, I've come to this park a few times, yeah, and I'm basically anti-hate. Yeah, I'm anti-hate. It's not needed. It's a negative force in life. So if someone's promoting hate, you know, yeah, I'm dead against that, obviously. Yeah. You know, and I don't know who this person is who you're talking about, but just from that perspective, do you know what I mean? Hating anyone is just not good.
Do you have any idea who this guy might be? No idea at all, or?
Do you know what? Yeah, I try not to. Follow what goes on.
Have you heard of Jeremy Corbyn?
Yeah, the Labour Party leader.
Would it surprise you if I said all of those things were things that Jeremy Corbyn has done?
See what? So that's, you were talking about Jeremy Corbyn?
Yeah, that was the politician.
No way. No, I know nothing about that, man. That's outrageous. I quite like that he's a socialist as well, though.
Yeah.
Do you know, I don't know anything about this anti-Jew stuff.
But that's the thing, many of Hitler's policies were also socialist. He nationalised lots of industry. Yeah. He set up social welfare redistribution programs. But he was also a massive anti-Semite against the Jews. Yeah. I'm not saying Hitler and Corbyn are the same, but I'm saying just because you have good policies, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good person.
Yeah, well, quite outrageous.
Yeah.
Quite outrageous news that you told me. I'm shocked. But
I recommend, because obviously this is coming from me and anyone watching on YouTube as well, I recommend you go and you do your own research, read for yourself, see what he has said about the Jews.
No, don't take it for gospel.
There's a politician that's invited terrorists that have killed thousands of Jews to Parliament, and he's called them his friends.
Well, he's a bit of a dick then, isn't he, really?
Yeah, possibly.
Am I going to catch up really quickly?
You might do. So, he said that the terror group Hamas were dedicated towards social justice. Oh, you're good, aren't you?
Yeah.
So our question is, basically, do you think such a person has a place in British politics?
Politics is for people who they vote for, and as long as he doesn't preach violence, I mean, he's been against every British idea since the beginning. He's been in favour of every terrorist group since the beginning. He is the perennial outsider. This is what he does. This is how he gets his support. It's a bit boring. He can't ever be part of the government.
So you wouldn't like to see him as
No, that's a terrifying prospect. Yeah, completely.
So really our question is, do you think that someone who holds these type of views should be or has a place in mainstream British politics?
No. that's my answer, no. Because
just speak up a bit.
No, this is my answer, because it's just someone like that should not have a place in office or in British politics, full stop, because it's just closed-minded views. Closed-minded views like that shouldn't be supported or anything. People shouldn't be able to see someone like that as a figure in politics.
Do you think that you'd vote for someone who had those type of views if you agreed with other of their policies?
I don't think I would. No.
And do you have any idea who we're talking about?
I don't.
Okay, so would it surprise you if I told you this person is Jeremy Corbyn?
It would surprise me.
So our question is, does a person like that have a place in the mainstream British politics?
Well, I think first of all 999 should have been dulled a long time ago, and they should have shut this guy down ages ago. What he's still doing, lingering about in people's heads as to how can he get away with this, is shocking me. So why don't they shut him down? Just shut him down.
Would you say he has a place in British politics?
I mean, from what you said, I would say no. In my world, in my understanding, no. For me, you know, Holocaust denial is definitely, you know, the Holocaust was not the number that was given, but it definitely happened. We know that as a fact.
What do you mean it wasn't the number that was given?
Well, the number that was given basically was given years before in newspapers. You know, I've seen proof, not just on YouTube, but in, you know, other. You got the British Library of the 6 million number being given even before World War I and during World War I. The population of the Ashkenazi Jews in you know, Germany and Poland and all them areas, the 6 million, just for 6 million, I've fellowshipped with Jews. I've been a part of a synagogue, and so I really understand if 6 million or in 1940, in 1930s were killed and 1940s were killed, you know, the demographic would be totally different, and the demographic.
What would it be?
Well, you'd have a lot of basically almost all the Jews wouldn't be even existing anymore, because, you know, they would have been killed, you know, and you didn't have that. You had a lot that were, and so you don't.
How
see
many
that
do you
evidence.
think were killed?
For me, from what I researched, is I'm sure the 6 million definitely is not true, but then I'm obviously sure that when somebody says no one was killed in them camps, that's I'm sure that that's not true as well.
Okay, so to pull it back to the subject at hand, would it surprise you if I said that this politician we're talking about is Jeremy Corbyn?
Jeremy Corbyn? It would surprise me a bit. Yeah, because of the strong alliance that, of course, Britain has with, you know, Israel, the state of Israel, and the Jews, who are very influential, you know, in Britain for decades now. You know, this past century, really. You know, you guys have been very successful. As some people, Jews, have said themselves, you know, the 20th century was a Jewish century, and I have to agree with that.
And so, yeah, you're a little bit surprised that it's Jeremy Corbyn, but not that much because of the Jewish influence, were you saying, in British politics?
Well, yeah, but for me, you know, I thought he wouldn't say it because of the Jewish influence, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say, like, what's the Palestinian influence in Britain? It don't exist. There's no, you know, you don't have a community of Palestinians that are very powerful, successful in media, in economics, in banking, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, so but in the end of the day, you know, they are British, and British people sadly have an agenda for, you know, the ethnic British people and stuff like that.
Would you say that a politician like that has a place in British politics today? No. Okay. And would it surprise you if I said that this person was actually Jeremy Corbyn?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Wouldn't surprise you at all? Okay, thank you.
I thought the question was going to be, you asked me who I thought it was, and I was going to say Jeremy Corbyn.
Do you believe such a person has a place in British politics today? No.
But he's in it.
Do you have an idea of who I'm talking
Corbyn.
about? Yeah. So it didn't surprise you that I said those things?
No.
Okay. That's it. We wanted it. So you've answered our question. How do you think somebody like Corbyn is so accepted by the mainstream today?
I don't know. I can't honestly imagine how he is.
Do you think that someone with those sort of views has a place in mainstream British politics?
Absolutely not. He shouldn't even be a member of Parliament.
Okay, and do you have any idea who we're talking about?
Jeremy Corbyn.
Jeremy Corbyn. Okay, that is indeed. Do you think that someone with these views has a place as a respectable member of the British political establishment?
No.
No.
No. Because I think that anybody who encourages terrorism, violence, any violation on another human being is not right. That's not right. No, that's not what I'm taught in my religion. No, I don't think that's right.
And if you asked who it was before, would you have an idea of who I might be talking about?
Well, I don't know. I don't like. No, I don't.
Would you like to see someone like this as the Prime Minister of England?
Why do I have a feeling you're going to bring up a Muslim or something? Why do I got a feeling? So,
Not Muslim.
who's it?
Okay, so the person.
Can I just ask, are you yourself Muslim, just so the viewers know?
Yes, I am.
So it's not a Muslim.
Okay, who's it?
The name of this particular individual is actually Jeremy Corbyn.
Okay. So Jeremy Corbyn wants to invite terrorists here into the Parliament.
Yeah.
And he regards them as his friends.
Yes. That's what he said. It's on video coming out of his own mouth.
Okay, to be honest, that's a bit shocking. And secondly, I mean, as a Muslim in Islam, terrorism is haram. You're not allowed to bomb yourself. You're not allowed to, like, there's rules in war. Like, you're not allowed to touch a tree. You're not allowed to touch children. You're not allowed to touch someone that's in the middle of prayer. You're not allowed to touch old people. You're not allowed to touch women. Like, there's rules and regulations, and this is within war. At the moment, we ain't in no war, so I think everybody should treat everybody equally, and they say treat others how you'd like to be treated. So when you see something happening, put yourself in that person's place. If you feel like you feel that's a violation, or you wouldn't like that to happen to you or your daughter or your family, don't do it to other people. And what goes around comes around, and it comes around harder. Yeah, so no, I don't agree with that.
I understand what you're talking about. You don't even need to say his name, but I think you put the spin on it already.
Who are we talking about?
Well, I'm assuming that you're going to say that it's Jeremy Corbyn.
And he said that all
I
of
don't
these
believe
things
he's
are true.
done that, no.
No, but he said he's done those things.
No, I don't think he has. I don't think he's saying that he supports right-wing anti-Jewish people. I don't think he said that out of his
So
own mouth.
Paul Eisen, who's a Holocaust denier, he's given money to his organisation, the as in Remembered.
I don't know how true that is, but I'll take your word for it.
He admits it.
So Facebook group, secret Facebook group called
Secret Facebook.
Yeah, which
So
was
how
supposed
do you
to
know about? Okay.
because of a journalist that we know called David Collier infiltrated it and took screenshots of all the communications that were going on in there, which Jeremy Corbyn was aware of because he was commenting on the messages where people were posting hardcore anti-Semitism, like Jews control the world, Jews control the media, Jews control the banks. So if what I'm saying is true, do you think Jeremy Corbyn has a place in British politics?
Well, Jeremy Corbyn has a place in British politics, clearly by the number of voters that he got from the last election. I don't think Jeremy Corbyn will sit here and tell you that he surrounded himself by anti-Semites. I personally don't think Jeremy Corbyn is an anti-Semitic person.
So at the moment, there was a mural a few years ago at Brick Lane, It was of Jewish bankers, and there was a Monopoly board, and under the Monopoly board where the Jewish bankers were counting their money on this picture, which was in Brick Lane, there were the workers of the world. So basically saying there's these rich Jewish bankers making money off all of the world. Jeremy Corbyn tried to fight for that mural not to get removed. A Muslim mayor of that area said, no, this is anti-Semitic, we want to remove it. So the Muslim mayor was saying it's anti-Semitic, and Jeremy Corbyn was saying leave it there.
Okay, that's a political opinion.
It's not a political opinion, that's anti-Semitic.
Look, I don't agree with that picture, first of all. However,
that's not politics, that's anti-Semitism.
No, it's not necessarily.
Saying that Jewish bankers control the world is anti-Semitism.
Yeah, well, it may be, it may not be.
No, it is. By any working definition that any government around the world uses, in the Western world at least, saying that Jewish bankers control the world is anti-Semitic.
Well, that's not an accurate statement to make.
And it's anti-Semitic, just like saying all Muslims are paedophiles, or all Muslims are terrorists is Islamophobic. Saying that Jewish bankers control the world is anti-Semitic.
I don't think it's an anti-Semitic statement to make. I think it's a very inaccurate statement to make. If someone was to say all bankers of the world that control the finances of the world are Muslim, that's not Islamophobic. That's inaccurate, but it's not Islamophobic.
Okay, we're going to respectfully disagree. The Holocaust was built on top of the belief that Jewish financiers control Germany and bankroll.
That's a different argument now. You're going.
No, Jewish financiers, Jewish bankers. I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was the argument that the Nazis came to power on.
The Nazis used. Yes.
And that is hardcore anti-Semitism.
No, what they done there is they made an inaccurate statement to portray something to.
But I could just by that logic, I can say
use that for anything.
I can say that if somebody says that Muslims are terrorists, that's an inaccurate statement, not Islamophobia. But you would say no, it's Islamophobic. If someone were to say that Islam teaches,
you may have a point there.
Someone were to say that Islam teaches, if someone like Tommy Robinson came here last week, and if they were to say that Islam teaches Muslims to kill the infidel, kill the kafir,
inaccurate statement.
It's Islamophobic.
It's
Islamophobic.
But the difference between a banker and a terrorist, they're two different connotations. I wish Muslims ran the banking system. Well, they will work in our favour. Let's say if he said this, that all Muslims are terrorists. It's offensive. It's highly inaccurate. It may be deemed as that's a grey area. However, to say all Jews are bankers isn't a derogatory term. It's not to say, it's a stereotype that all Jews are money men and all that. It's a stereotype, right? Because of
where does that stereotype lead? What happens when people start spreading that stereotype?
Lead to hate. It could lead to hate. Yes, it could lead to hate. But just to say it on its own, look, it's the usual suspects that say that are anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Yes. However, just that statement on its own, it's not. But I do agree with the sentiment that if someone's saying that, then you have to question their motive. Yeah. Why are they saying that?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I do agree with you on that point of view. Because why would they say that?
You see, I don't know who you're on about, and I don't know who he invited over or any other context. If what you're saying is true, that they're committing genocide and all of this extreme stuff, then obviously it's not a good thing. But then I'd have to investigate whether the claims are true or not. But if I take on what you're saying, that they're committing genocide, they're killing people in other places, and what you're saying is true, and this politician is supporting it, then I wouldn't support him the same way if it was Muslims getting killed and a politician was bringing him over. I wouldn't support that.
So the terror group is Hezbollah, which I know killed Muslims around the world.
To be honest, I don't know much about Hezbollah. Yeah. Me, I do dawah and I focus on religious stuff. I don't actually focus on politics. Like, you know, when I get Christians coming to me, is Islam a religion of peace? Let's debate that. I'm not into all that stuff. Yeah. So I don't know much about Hezbollah, to be honest. Yeah, I heard there's many Muslims that don't like them, and I heard there's Muslims that do like them. I don't know much, but if what you're saying is true, then I wouldn't support that.
In truth, there's no way of knowing if Jeremy Corbyn is or isn't anti-Semitic, as nobody knows what's going on inside his mind except him. But what we can say with absolute certainty is that Jeremy Corbyn has supported and is supported by anti-Semites. This behaviour wouldn't be acceptable for any other politician, and it shouldn't be acceptable for Jeremy Corbyn to behave this way. If you like this video, even if you didn't like this video, hit the big subscribe button on YouTube and like us on Facebook for more videos like this.